Do you know in the past, people from Nsukka are not regarded as a normal human beings like others in our land? In fact, whenever or wherever anyone from Nsukka or even from any other place misbehaves, such a person will be called one Nsukka with a derogatory undertone because of their own type of Igbo dialect. I know people who don't live for nature before will testify to this. They will testify to what I'm saying. Because they used to talk down on people from Nsukka anyhow. So, before, people from Abakaliki are assumed to belong to the species of lesser mortals of prehistoric times. They are quickly called Bianwa Abakalikia in our nature. Then, I don't know now, because of their own language by a fellow Igbo people. But today, people from Nsukka and Abakaliki can no longer be disrespected because of the incomparable and massive transformations that has been taking place in their own states today in Nigeria. Hello everyone, Ogu Emmanuel is my name. If you are new in this channel, you are highly welcome. And a special thanks to all my returning subscribers and my esteemed viewers as well. In today's video titled, Who Owns Central Igbo Language? We're going to discuss about how Central Igbo was made and why. So let's jump straight into the video. Somehow it started at Onitsha, a very big commercial city in Anambra State, and probably the biggest commercial city in West Africa. That was where I came in contact with lots of people from different places, with different languages, cultures, combined together. A lot of people do converge there because of the commercial activities going on. So it was a place where there are, lots of people who speaks Igbo language with a lot of variations of their dialects. Some Igbo people will find it very comfortable to put other Igbos down because of their language. So as a result of coming together of people from diverse places and languages, tribes and cultures, it became the gathering, nature became the gathering of all the people from every part of Igbo land and beyond. So they came there for the purpose of buying, selling, running of other commercial services and activities, So it was in this commercial city of Onitsha, that was where the name calling started. You see somebody, you give him an insultive tone of a name. How can you call somebody one Nsukka? As if you don't know how you can address the person. How can you call somebody Bianwa Abakalikia? As if he's not born by a human being like you. I know you are calling them by the name of the place where they came from, but you know that there is a kind of a derogatory undertone in the way you place the cause and the reason. You know. So let's go to the brief history of this Igbo language we are talking about today. So Igbo language is very beautiful and also rich. You know, so it is true. Most people do pair Igbo language with Central Igbo dialect. There are so many other varieties of this wonderful language. Each of these varieties shares similar culture and linguistic origins. You know, for example, the known origin of the stages of translations of the standard of Igbo language can be classified like this. For example, there was what was called Esu Ama Igbo. Esu Ama Igbo. It was spoken, it was used, it was spoken then by the freed Igbo slaves in Sierra Leone from 1857 to 1941. That was when that type of Igbo was used. But in Sierra Leone, the freed Igbo slaves, so it was called Isuama Igbo. So a birth was given to another set of Igbo language called Union Igbo, that was influenced by the growing number of converted Igbo Christians within Nigeria then, between 1905 and 1941. So there was another birth of Igbo set of language called Central Igbo, the one that we claim we speak or that we are using, but it is not exactly so. So there's one we call Central Igbo. It started from the year 1941 to 1973. And from the year 1973 till this present day, the name of the set of Igbo language we are using is called Standard Igbo. So there is this understanding that with mutual intelligibility, meaning that two or more languages or dialects are similar enough. It is so similar that people who speak one of them can understand and communicate with people who speak another one without much difficulty. For example, someone from Onitsha, Anambra State, can almost understand and communicate with somebody from Mbano, Imo State, without difficulty. I hope you know that. How Central Igbo was formed. Igbo is a very diverse language which most people did not know. But there is this one called Central Igbo, that is Igbo Izugbe, which all Igbo can understand and communicate with. Now everybody they use them, even if people find it very difficult to understand your own part of Igbo, because when an Abriba man is using his own dialect to communicate with a typical Anambra man, there will be this kind of glitch, there will be this kind of language glitch in between. You're supposed to know. So it's an example. So, but the truth is that nobody actually speaks Central Igbo natively. Some Igbo groups, did not even buy that idea, did not even accept this Igbo language construct, because they felt it is hindering communications, and because some are not good at using this Central Igbo that almost everyone is using. So the Central Igbo the Central Igbo language was standardized due to the necessity for church usage by the Union Igbo Bible in the year 1913. The word Central Igbo is based on the, it is based on the dialect of two members of Ezinihite group of Igbo in central Owerri province between the towns of Owerri and Umuahia. So there was also a reasonable court made from Awka, Anambra State in the eastern Nigeria. But in all this, Ngwa is the largest variety of core Igbo clusters. It is Ngwa. The Igbo language then was proposed for adoption as a literal form in the year 1939 by Dr. Ada C. Ward. This form of Igbo language was, gradually accepted by the missionaries, writers, publishers across the region for communication. Yes. So they don't have a choice. That was what they started using then, so that they can bring people from diverse Igbo communities together for a common understanding. What is Igboid languages? That's what we call Igboid languages. It is a kind of Igbo language or languages least likely to be understood by Central Igbo speakers, like the one spoken in Okwane, Eka Abo, Enuani, Delta State, Izi and Eza in Ebonyi State, Ekpeye, Ikwere, and Oba in Rivers State. So we possibly have about up to 15 different Igboid language, but for now, let's work with these. There's one we call Okwane in Delta State. Okwane is an Igboid language and dialect spoken in the southern part of who are mostly found in Delta State, Nigeria. They can also be found in other states. Some part of them can be found in other states like Rivers and Edo. So the Ukwane people are known for their rich cultural heritage, including their traditional dances and festival. There's another one called Eka Abo from Delta State also. Eka is another Igbo dialect spoken in Nigeria by the Eka people of Delta and Edo states of southern Nigeria, respectively. The language has both elements of Edo and Igbo, but with more Igbo influence because of the historical, interactions and migrations of these ethnic groups around the region. So the variations of Eka can be quite diverse with more Edo influence too. I hope you understand what I mean. So there's another one we call Enuani from Delta State also. So Enuani is also an Igbo dialect spoken in Nigeria by the people of Delta State. Like people from Asaba, Onitsha, Obosi, and Obaru in Anambra State. Also, Ndoni in River State. It is part of many dialects that made up the core Igbo language group. It is also known for its unique linguistic features. So, there's another one, Izi, in Ebonyi State. So the speakers of this Izi language can be found at the east of Abakaliki, Ebonyi State's capital. It extends as far as the Anambra and Imo State boundaries. With beautiful cultural heritage too. Izi has a lot to do with other dialects. Sometimes it can mingle, it can mix in a way, but with some unique characteristics that made it a different one from other Igbo dialects. There's another one called Iza language from Ebonyi State. You can find Iza speakers mainly in Ebonyi Central, with more numbers in Ebonyi North and South. The language has many similarities with other Igbo dialects, but with its own different features that keeps it apart. They share cultural identities with other ethnic groups in the regions too. They have a kind of interaction too. So there's another one, Ekpeye from Rivers State. Igboid is an Igboid language of the rivers and the Imo State. Although it is fairly distinct and it is most likely the least understandable for core Igbo speakers. The Igboid people are known for their rich cultural heritage that they share with other groups that uses the word Chineke for the supreme being. So they interuse it too. They use the word Chineke for their supreme being or their God. So there's another one, Ikwere people of Rivers State. The classification of Ikwere as a dialect or language, many a times it's controversial. It is spoken by the people of Ikwere River State. A lot of languages can be found between the central Igbo language and that of Ikwere. It can be understood. But there is a noticeable difference when it comes to this letter R sound, letter R. Ikwere people use Romo for children, while many other Igbo dialects will call it Omo. But Ikwere people use Romo, like Rumola, Romo this and Romo that. It's supposed to, maybe you've been hearing some of these rumors, So there's another one in River State. There's another place in River State, a set of people called Oba. Oba is also an ethnic group which can be found in the northern part of River State. They are also an Igboid group that shares many linguistic, cultural similarities with other Igboid languages and dialects, but mostly in River State. Do you know that the first book to publish Igbo terms, do you know the name of the book? They called it History of the Mission of the Evangelical Brothers in the Caribbean. It was published in the year 1777, as far back as 1777. So shortly after that, another book was published. It was called The Interesting Narrative of the Life of Olaudah Equiano. It was published in London, England in the year 1789. That was when it was published. The book was written by Olaudah Equiano himself, who was a former slave. The book featured 79 Igbo words. Later on, there was another book written in the year 1854 called Primer for the Igbo Language. It was written by a Yoruba priest called Samuel Ajay Crowder with an assistance by a young Igbo language interpreter named Simon Jonas. So, for those who are doing research on Igbo language, you should go look for these books and see for yourselves what they wrote or what was written inside it. I know in this video you have picked one or two things about how Igbo language was formed, by who and when. I know say don't learn one or two things about Igbo language. This is just the summary of it. But please, as always, let me know from the comment section what you think about this video. But do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, click like on my Facebook page, ring the notification bell, and do not forget to share this video. It will help the next viewing experience. It will help this channel's algorithm. If you do so, just share the videos. Some other people will learn a lot from it. So please let us meet in my next video by God's grace. See you again. Bye bye. Bye.